Alright, let me pause this. So, as you can tell, I got new workout equipment. Storage up there is for making space for this. Broke down the other workout bench. It's stored against the wall over here next to the refrigerator. And right now I'm just in volume in phase 1 of a 5-3-1 cycle. So wave 1 sets of 5 plus on the last rep. That was a bit of a grinder on that 6th rep. I almost hung it up at 5, but I knew I could pull one more, possibly 2. I don't think I would have failed on that second attempt, but I don't want to have to grind through and fry my CNS. I'm old. It's one thing I've learned from doing all this. So, yes, my wife was super cool to me this year for Christmas, so I repaid the favor. Her Christmas present is sitting here, which is why I had to reorganize the garage. All right, so here's her Christmas present. It is a 1992 VW Cabriolet. It's basically a Rabbit convertible. I want to say they changed the moniker sometime around 86, 87. As you can see, I've got it tore apart. It has its own issues. Nothing major. I mean, it does have a salvage title. I knew that going into it, and I found the reason why. It's not terrible, but it's going to require quite a bit of body work that's hidden. So the top's going to have to come off, and it's in the right rear quarter. You can't see it. Cosmetically, the thing looks great, but it has its issues. There's rust here and there. So anyways, there's some light delamination where this part is basically laid on top of the metal underframe on the knee bar, but on the other side, so it's starting to delaminate. I needed to pull this off to relaminate that, and I had to pull this down in order to access the dashboard screws. There's some screws that go into the dash. The glove box lid is the part that goes through this slot here and actuates the glove box up and down. The spring, that piece that connects to the spring is broken, so I need to fix that. It's just pieces of tape from the previous owner. But the damage is in this right rear quarter on the inside. I could pop the trunk and show you. But basically the inner fender well, outboard of the inner strut tower has a crease in it that's starting to rust. So it was obviously smashed here pretty good. There's some door jamb Bondo filler where they did a terrible paint job. It's starting to flake off there, and you can also tell because that screw is not stock and that doesn't have the snap for this snap pin. So little minor things other than the salvage damage, but this is a long-term project, and I mean very long-term. So the engine starts, it runs, but it has a funky odd high idle, random. I thought I fixed it with a bunch of vacuum leaks that I found, and I'm putting new mirrors on, so I'm going to be very distracted giving this commentary, so please bear with me. But this is going to be some stuff I'm going to document for the channel moving forward with new vlog entries. I haven't done any videos in the past 6 months. Just been concentrating on trying to get back into working out on a regular basis. I took about a 2.5-3 month break. Busted up my ankles hiking and walking around out in California, and twisted both my ankles on separate days and had to take some time off for that. So anyways, engine smokes pretty good, so I went and bought a 2-liter. That's the remnants of the top end of the 2-liter, bottom end, oil pump and whatnot. There's the head. Head's coming off. I'm going to do a 1/8 to 2-liter. You see here, it's on the back of the block, 2-liter, and then Mexico. So if you flip the block over, pistons are in great shape, and the cylinders are in fantastic shape. This motor had 125,000 miles on it. So we'll go ahead and I just need to finish de-priming or scraping this, getting all the rust off. I've hit it with a wire wheel, and there's bits and pieces that are still flaking, so I'm going to get some paint remover, apply it liberally, get all that off, and then I'm going to put on some of the rust inhibitor that turns black. I think it turns into iron phosphate. It takes the iron oxide and turns it into iron phosphate, so basically remediates rust. Bottom end looks good. I just had that over there because last night I chased all the block holes that aren't used on the 2-liter block, that some of them are used. I didn't know which was which, so I went ahead and chased all the holes that weren't used, and because there was mud clods in them and they were rusted up, and I basically rethreaded them. So this block is going to go inside this car, and the head on this is going to go into that, along with all the timing equipment and accessory belts and all that stuff. So it's just going to be 0.2 of a liter larger displacement, and I'm going to rebuild the automatic transmission when all this is out too. So mechanically, it's going to be a brand new car. When all that's out, I'm going to clean the engine bay, detail it completely. Something let go in this engine. I'll feed in some photos, but under the hood was just, I'll have pictures with it propped up, just caked in black soot. So something let go in this engine, and I think they either just put a new block in it or put a new head on it. But yeah, it's burning oil pretty good. I ran a compression test. Cylinders running left to right, so I think it's 4, 3, 2, 1. 1 being nearest the crankshaft, where the flywheel goes, or in this case the flex plate. So 120 compression, and it would bleed off no matter how many times we ran the test. So it was at top dead center. It kept bleeding. So 120, 125, 150, 150. Now that's within spec. However, when I ran the wet test, it only jumped up like 4 or 5 points. So the rings and the valve guides are both pretty much shot and worn out. It smokes pretty good when it runs for a while, and like I said, it's got this funky high idle I can't resolve. So, and there's lots of little wiring issues, a lot of corrosion in here. So one reason I pulled the dash wasn't just to the heater core is misting, so I got a replacement heater core in that box right there. That's going to go in when I drain the coolant to pull the engine and trans. I'm going to go ahead and swap out the heater core while that's drained. I don't want to drain it just for that. So I'll probably drain it, do the heater core, and then pull the engine and trans. But that's probably going to come out sometime next weekend. Hopefully I can find the time. Gonna de-dust the dash. That's gross looking, and get it looking really nice. And everything all nice and cleaned up. I'm going to pull all the grounds and scrub all the corrosion off of them. Let me see here. You can see how bad the corrosion is on this. If we can get some light on here. Come on, focus on the foreground here. Come on. Yeah, not a lot of light here. So, but yeah, they're pretty corroded. So I'm going to go through all the spade connectors that are positives. I'm going to pull off and wire brush, and all of the grounds I'm going to do the same to. All the grounds are pretty much either bolted down or wire spade connectors. So those should be really easy to clean. There's a cluster under here in the fuse panel. So a lot of work to do. I'm trying to get it done and ready for summer because it is a convertible. Top's in great shape. There's one little hole in it, and I took it through a car wash, and it holds all the water out except for a little bit of a leak about right here in the window jamb. So eventually we're going to go through and completely do the entire car. So you can see the leather is in decent shape considering it's what, a 92. It's like 26 years old, 25 years old. That's the only tear. Everything else is just kind of brittle. It's really, you hear that cracking? It's really stiff and brittle. And they did respray the color before they sold it. There's some overspray and spots here and there. So anyways, that's it in a nutshell. The only major interior portion that's an issue is somebody tried prying that off and not knowing how it went on prior to me getting it, and there's a crack right there, and then the speaker surround is cracked and broken. So the speaker flares out on the passenger side door. Passenger side door shuts slightly different than the driver's side because of that accident. So that'll all be remedied when I get the body work done, probably 2 years. So this first year mechanical, next year probably going to gut the interior and completely redo the interior, a nice new reupholsterer job. There's a couple local reupholsterers that are really good. So we'll get them to redo the same exact pattern. I love this diagonal pattern versus the horizontals. And it's unique to this model year. The 90 through 93s had that diagonal as the carrot edition. So the back seats are softer because they were never used, but these worn seats they're just stiff. You can hear it, just how gritty and stiff that is. So yes, wife gives me a fantastic Christmas present, and I decided to return the favor. So real good Christmas this year. Hope you guys had a great one, and Happy New Year and all that good stuff. But expect a little bit more regular videos from me. I'm going to try to put one out, at least one every 2 weeks from here forward, at least showing some progress. And as I feel like it when I'm recording footage of the rebuild, I'll get some of that. I didn't get any footage of the engine teardown, but first thing I probably should do is get an approval from the HOA to get these out of the garage and on the side of the house. I need to build a little enclosure on the side, so HOA is going to be a real stickler about that. They've fined me before in the past for keeping them outside the garage. So they take a lot of room, and I need to get the kids' bike racks in here. So when I do any work, I got to pull the kids' bikes out, so the weather has to be nice, so on and so forth. But guys, that's where I'm at. Today was a grueler. Taking a long break now. I've got 2 more sets of volume. So this is, you can see my weight's up. I'm putting on some muscle mass here. So 275 for 6 on the regular back squat, and this is 160 for 3 sets of 10 box squats. And I like to set the back up so that when I'm done I can just re-rack the bar and fall backwards and just take a 3-minute breather and then get back to it. But I got 2 more sets to do, guys, so I'll get back to it, and you'll be hearing more from me in the future. Later.